most of the people think that you're preparing for Indian society only to score well in those questions. Typically, say generally 3 questions which are 10 markers and 3 questions which are 15 markers is 3 into 10 is equal to, and 3 into 15, 30 plus 45 is 75 is the bare minimum by and large, I would say. Last year it was 90 plus marks. In fact, this year, 2024, okay. And the year before that also it was about 80 plus marks. So it is always more than, though I'm actually playing a more conservative, I'm giving you a more conservative estimate, about 30% is what I'm trying to say, right? Now, if you think that whatever classes that we're going to have for GS1 society, it is only for these many marks, then you are actually looking at this particular topic in a very narrow view. Why? Because we are here, whatever we are going to discuss in the next 8 sessions, okay, it is not only going to be useful for you to gain, obviously score better than your average competitor in these areas of GS1, because the syllabus mentions all of these items. So you must have already looked at the syllabus, okay? So these are the topics that we're going to cover. So these topics, in a way, I have divided into 10 chapters, okay? So we'll go chapter by chapter. Totally, there are 10 chapters, so we will cover all the 10 chapters. And when I'm going to cover, it is both static and current. Till even today, I was trying to update some content because I was reading some things in the last week with respect to labor force participation, with respect to marital rape, all of those things. I was reading certain things in the last week, so I felt immediately I need to update my so whatever we are going to discuss is both static plus current incorporated at one place topic wise, but it is still November because we are having classes now. Now, what is your duty? Your duty is to update this content as you go along, because you guys are going to write your mains in the August of 2022. So from November to August of 2022, there will be some updates. So it is your duty to update wherever, whatever developments that are there, topic wise, you need to update those things. So that is why what I request you guys to do is that please try to make notes as we are going through the classes. There will be a reference PPT. Definitely, there will be a reference PPT in each class that we are going to use, because that is going to save time. If I keep writing that thing in a whiteboard, it is easier for me because I already have a notes. If I keep writing in the whiteboard, it will take double the amount of time for us. So, and I would want to deliver as much as possible in the limited amount of time possible. That is why I have prepared proper PPTs also. That will save us some time of me writing slowly, everything. So instead, if PPT is there, we can cover whatever has to be covered in 4 hours, we'll be able to cover in 2.5 hours itself. Okay. So that reference PPTs will be there. But as we are discussing things, please write down whatever you understand. Okay, in your own language. In your own language, keep making some running notes. And when I say running notes, I would say, especially for this topic, Indian society, I would prefer you make some hard offline. See, I'm comfortable. In fact, I nowadays I use iPad to write whatever I want. Okay, even some notes, reference notes are on iPad itself. But I would want you guys to have something like this. Okay, you're able to see this. These sheets, okay, or if you don't have margin sheets, at least plain sheets or notebook for a while, okay, preferably sheets. A notebook is also fine, and blank sheets much more easier. Why am I insisting this, especially for this topic? Maybe for some other topics, let's say world history, lot of things is static. Indian history, lot of things is static, so you are not going to add too much to the notes that you are going to make as you attend the classes, right? But in case of Indian society, there is a good amount of additions that you're going to make. So if you are going to add, let's say for one topic, you have written something down, okay? And if you want to add something there, right? Will it not be difficult for you if you are trying to do it in some kind of a, let's say, any other source other than sheets? Now, what is the utility of sheets? Later on, you can write in a plain sheet and you can just insert between things, right? So that is why I often tend to use these things, and I have a punching machine Okay, I always have a punching machine. I just punch it and I file it in something. Okay, because I know, for example, we are going to discuss marriage as a topic. Now there will be some developments in the next 2 to 3 months on marital rape. I know there will be some content that needs to be added. So after 2 months, I will write a page about extra about marital rape, and that page I will insert it wherever I've written the marriage as a topic. Okay, so I would request you guys to follow this. Otherwise, I'm not very picky about. See, some people are comfortable with the offline thing. And one more advantage, at least of having these things, is you develop a bit of writing also because after all, it is still an offline exam. Okay, whatever said and done, we're trying to make use of so many online things. Okay, because I remember there was one person, because I keep mentoring every year, I keep mentoring those people who are about to write mains, right? So there was one boy last year or last to last year. So I was trying to mentor that person. He has in couple of months, that boy has a exam, mains ka exam tha. Okay, so he has shared his answer sheet. No, looking at the answer sheet, I realized that it was written in a iPad. Then immediately I felt, bhai, इतना भी एडवांस नहीं हुआ यूपीएससी, राइट? It's not so advanced enough that you're going to write something online. Okay, still, because during my days of preparation also, I used to write online exams, GRE, all that exams were online. I used to write online essay for GRE, all those things. That is fine, but still, as of today, it is still an offline exam. So थोड़ा बहुत आप आपको हाथ से, you should give some exercise for your hand also, right? And you should do some bit of writing practice. So at least use these sessions to do both the things, have some bit of writing practice also. It will improve your speed also. On the other hand, the fact that there is a lot of dynamic content. Okay, so PPTs are a reference during the classes. You better make a running notes at your own end. Okay, koi bhi notes le lo, sheets le lo, loose sheets, right? Fine. So this is one request from my end. Okay, okay, fine, chaliye. So this is what is mentioned as part of Indian GS1 Indian society. But as I told you, minimum, at the minimum, around 70 to 80 marks. So that makes it on par with geography, I would say, or even sometimes more than worth geography in terms of the number of marks of questions that are being asked. Okay. Now you are here. Now my job is also to ensure that you are going to get some extra marks because of your refined understanding of these topics. Because you tend to have a better understanding than average competitor, you are going to get that extra edge of about 10 marks, I would say, in essay. Compared to someone, let's suppose there is a competitor A, and that person has not focused so much on this area. Thoda superficially पढ़ के चला गया. He has just read something superficially and he is gone and he started to write the exam. So whatever that person is going to gain or get in essay, I can say, rest assured, at least 10 marks you are going to gain if you are fairly comfortable with these areas. So you're not just aiming for these 75 plus marks. You are in a way expanding the scope. Add 10 more marks extra to your kitty because you are fairly comfortable with Indian society. So not just essay. So look at every year there would be some or the other topic wherein lot of this knowledge, right? All these topics, you are going to incorporate those things into your essay, and that will fetch you easily about 10 marks. This is a bare minimum I'm saying. Okay. What if there is a question entirely on society only? And then sky is the limit in terms of the variable marks that you're going to get. Okay, right? So but I'm saying at the minimum, this is an advantage that you get if you are comfortable with this area. Okay. So for example, look at the question: a society that has more justice is a society that needs less charity. So much, two times society is mentioned. So unless you know what are the features of a society, what are the various aspects of society, what are the problems, what are the different dimensions, how are you going to expand your essay into and write 10 to 12 pages? You will end up writing only good quality content for only 6-7 pages. You will feel short of what else to be written in an essay, right? Okay, so that is why I'm saying, so if imagine a question like this has been asked. Okay, so this was asked in 2023, 2021, there was a question like this: hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. This is a repetition of the question. In fact, in long back, this question was also asked. But very rarely essay questions are repeated, but still it has been repeated. Hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. Okay, what do you mean by this thing? Anyone? What do you make out of this topic? What are we supposed to talk about? What are the things that we're supposed to talk about? Okay, very good. Woman's role also. Okay. And that rocks the cradle. Primarily, okay, role of a woman. Okay. Parenting. Okay. Nurturing. Very good. Family. Very good. What else? We're talking about child, values, very good traditions, culture, excellent, women. So now again, should we limit it to women? What if there is only a father and a daughter? What if a family has only a father and a daughter? What if it is a maybe it's still not the case in Indian society, but okay, what if it is a same-sex couple, two men, they're raising a child, which is legal in other countries, not yet legal in India. Don't you think they are also rocking the cradle? Right. What if there are only grandparents and a child? There is no mother there. What if it is an orphan? Yes. What if it is an orphan? What if it is, we're talking about a system like commune, all of those things, okay? So see, your horizon is expanding. So you are able to expand your horizon of thinking only because of the wider understanding that you get by these topics, by looking at these topics. Unless you have a little refined or a deeper understanding, huh, about these topics, you cannot open up so wide your mind and think about different perspectives. Okay, so most of your competitors might only focus mostly on what woman is, woman empowerment. Definitely women and other things you are going to definitely write well, because this is what you study here: role of a woman, woman organization. We are going to study about patriarchy, gender issues, all of those things, fair enough. But it's on not only those things, we are going to study about different kinds of families, different we're going to study about, okay, different kinds of क्या बोलते हैं, trends that in terms of family, in terms of marriage as an institution, okay, instead of in terms of socialization of a child, how child is getting socialized. So all of those are going to give you that edge, extra edge, even if this is topic. Okay, so if it is a topic which is closely related to Indian society, it's sky is a limit for you. You might even end up getting 20 extra than an average competitor. But I'm saying, even if it is not directly related to Indian society, these aspects that you study as part of Indian society, you should be able to leverage. So that is why I've used the term leverage. Okay, you are not only studying whatever is relevant as part of GS1, you are leveraging these things and gaining that extra 10 marks in essay. So just add to your kitty 75 plus 10 minimum, bare minimum. So do we stop here? No, we are not going to stop here. Why? See, if you are good with these topics, again, I can assure you at least 10 plus marks in GS4. Why? Look at some of the questions. Again, this is a this year question only. Indian culture and value system, equal opportunity has been provided irrespective of gender identity. The number of women in public service has been steadily increasing over the years. Examine the gender specific challenges faced by female. Array are all of these things deeply. Where do we study most of these things again? Okay. Role of women. Okay. In general, culture, values, also Indian society, diversity of India. Yes. Yes. So essay is open-ended. Okay, essay is open-ended. Okay, our friend has a question. Yes. So definitely you are supposed to mention examples all across. Exactly. So yeah. So in fact, so those things you cannot. So I'm saying including Indian examples. I'm saying including Indian examples, you'll write in an essay. You're not limiting to India only. Essay is wide open. You can write. You can write about Mars also tomorrow. What if Elon Musk may ensure some people are shifting to Mars also? Yes, you're free to write. Yes. So questions like, I'm only selectively giving you an examples. There are multiple questions each year, likewise in each of the paper, wherein you can leverage the knowledge that you acquire of GS1 Indian society. And look at the case studies every year at the minimum one. I say on an average two case studies do come directly touching upon the areas, right? Because case studies are you should have wider, because we are going to discuss many options. We're going to discuss with many options what are the merits, demerits. So you have to have a wider understanding about a particular issue. Okay. So typically I will take a case study 2020 mein, there is a case study on migration in a tribal district. There is some development project. Let's say now, even now in Odisha, again, there are talks that the POXO is going to come back after a long time. Because otherwise there were protests in the tribal areas due to which POXO could not set up a plant. Now there are again talks going on that it might come again, right? So what if there is a displacement of tribals there? They are trying to get, they'll be migrated. Due to migration, what is going to happen? Women are becoming more and more vulnerable in any of the, whenever there is a disaster, whenever there is displacement of people, women and children are going to be the most vulnerable. Fine. Okay. So what is the impact to those things? And as a DZ, as a commissioner, okay, or a DM, what are the dilemmas with you? Okay. So this is a question that has been asked. Likewise, generally, some themes get repeated. Sexual harassment at workplace of women, or women facing some kind of a discrimination wherein patriarchy is clearly visible even in the workspace. Okay, the violence against women is clearly evident. So those kind of case studies are also very good. Yes. So imagine in such a case study, which is worth about 20 marks ka case study hai. I'm pretty sure easily you can, in such case studies, 2 marks extra ऐसे ही मिल जाएगा उस case study में, if you are fairly comfortable with this area. So two such questions about 2 plus 2, 4, 5 marks, and there will be 2 to 3 questions in the theory part also. So overall, the kind of gains that you're looking at is again 10 plus marks in GS4 itself, right? So 75 plus 10 plus GS4, kitna hua? 95. And what if you have some of these optionals? Is there anyone with these optionals? Okay, some of are my old friends only. Yes. Okay, other than that also, yes, anthropology, yes. Now, see, imagine, and in fact, there is one session which is uploaded to the portal also. I have discussed as to how you incorporate the GS content into optional answers. Okay, how do you borrow whatever you have learned from in GS, but at the same time not make it sound like only a GS answer? It should be your optional answer. It should be an anthro answer, or it should be a socio answer. But at the same time, you can leverage a lot of the things that you learn in the GS portions, and you can gain those extra marks. So only in one of the paper, I say over together, let's say 1 and 2 together, there also incrementally overall, because there will be quite a lot of questions. I'm only giving a sample question. So in each year, there will be at least 3 to 4 questions which you are directly importing the content from whatever you learned or gathered or collected as part of your GS preparation. Thanks to your good GS preparation, especially of Indian society, you are just able to put in some good points, extra points into your optional answers. That is fetching you overall that extra 10 marks, or 250 marks. Totally, 500 marks may at least overall आपका score will be at least, only because you are more comfortable in this area, that extra 10 marks का edge आपको मिलने वाला है. You're getting it. So what I'm trying to highlight here, what is it that I'm trying to highlight here is that, right? So you are going to ignore this area at a cost of 100 and plus marks, 110 plus marks. That means if you think manage हो जाएगा ये कुछ बिना पढ़े, without reading much also I'll try to manage these things, then imagine what is at stake, right? You're not here only to score good marks in GS1. You're ultimately here to see your name in the list. Yes, right? So if that is the case, so why not leverage whatever you're getting? And because of this only, because I was, again, I learned the hard way. In my third attempt, I learned the hard way. But because of this only, I was able to be among the top 40 in GS. In GS1, I was among the highest scorer also. Hardly I see anyone scoring more than me. In that year, I cleared, okay? Right? So and not only that, even so much so that my GS score was more than rank 1 and 5 of the top 10 people. Okay, so not to, again, not to flaunt, but I'm trying to only emphasize this fact that how you can use whatever you learn in one particular area and spread it at other places also. That means I was able to leverage some of the marks in GS4 also. I was able to leverage in other papers. I able to leverage in my socio paper. So that is why I ended up being among the top 20 in socio marks. Okay, if you look at my socio, I don't have a socio background also. I'm an engineer, I'm an MBA. Okay, and I think I forgot to introduce myself. Anyways, if some people, as the name has been mentioned, okay, I'm Kili Chandrasekhar, IAS 2014 batch. In 2018, due to personal reasons, I've decided to move on. And then from there on, I've been into all the phases of your UPSC preparation, right from mentoring to teaching to interview guidance to, so across the board, across the line of preparation, every aspect of preparation I've been involved. Before I got into service also, I was teaching for a while because it was in my third attempt that I made it to service. So after my second attempt, I started to look at my plan B also. I used to teach once in a while, right, in some smaller institutions here and there in different places. Okay, teaching current affairs or other things. Okay, so that is how at the back of the mind always academics is something which I've started to gain a lot of interest of late. It's not something I that I was from the childhood. I was thinking that I'll become more like a teacher, but it's something I discovered that it's something I like doing. So this is pretty much about me. But as per se, before getting into service, I was an engineer, an IT engineer, and then MBA, and then I worked in the private sector for 4 to 5 years, close to 5 years. No humanities background, and imagine with no humanities background, the kind of areas, these are all humanity related areas. There is no proper zeros and ones or logic per se. Many of the things don't fit into the logic. What I suppose a lot of you are engineers here also, engineers everywhere. How many of you are who all are engineers? I think most of you would be engineers anyway. Or non-humanities. Forget about engineers, maths, MBA, not those people who don't have humanities background. Doctors, okay, yes, fine, yeah, fair enough. Physics, exactly. So quite a few of you have no humanities background. Okay, so you don't know how much of initially it will be an inertia. You think as if you know a lot of things. And the problem with Indian society is that you think you know a lot of things. I will throw some words. You know what is caste? Yes. You know what is marriage. You know what is family. You know what is secularism. Terms, at least you have read about those things. You know what is communalism. But unfortunately, slowly you will realize that whatever you know is a biased view. Or half knowledge. Dangerous. Half knowledge is more dangerous than having no knowledge. Yes. So soon you will realize that whatever you know is either biased or half knowledge. So the problem with Indian society is that for a lot of you, you have to first undergo through a process what is called unlearning. First you have to unlearn and then you start relearning. It is the case mostly with those people. Okay. So for a lot of you, for most of you, all of you, it has to be a two processes because whatever you know is maybe in many cases it is a garbage. Okay, garbage or a limited perspective, a biased perspective, which is even more dangerous. And that is why I'm going to spend some time discussing some aspects in terms of what are the do's and don'ts. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to discuss now is some points to remember when you are going to write answers. Okay, again, in each session we're going to take up one question and we'll try to a live answer writing only. I will have a timer. I'll ask you to sit down during the time and note down some points, and after that we'll discuss. Okay, and each session will take up one question because it will take about half an hour or so. Okay, and we have that ways. So in each class, about half an hour will be using for this discussion on question and Q&A. That is where you will slowly understand as to how careful you have to be with respect to certain aspects. And see, mind you, this is not only based on the fact that I scored well. in GS and I scored well in optional. It is not mainly because of that I'm going to share these things. It is because of many people I've been mentoring in the last many years. Lot of things I feel are better than what I used to do. Okay, looking at some of the people. So that was very open in the fact that I'm not very particular about the fact that there is only one way of doing right thing. Okay, only right. So every year I learn a lot from people. Even after these sessions, naturally I learn a lot of things from you people. There are a lot of you who are much more smarter than me. So there is no reason why you shouldn't make it if I've made it. Fine. So and every batch I realize this fact. Every batch I realize fact that I realize that fact that the world, right? There are a lot of people around who are much more smarter, much more qualified, much more eligible in the sense to become IAS officers. Okay. And I learn a lot from those people. And that is why I ensure these sessions are also quite interactive. I want the sessions also to be interactive rather than merely a monologue, because in most other cases, it is mostly a monologue recordings that happen, but I'm more keen on, because there is some bit of self-interest in that also. I also want to learn something, certain things from you people, okay? And obviously people, and I learn a lot of, and that is the reason why I also make sure I'm part of the other things also, like your those people who are writing mains, the mentoring, also the interview guidance, because especially those people who come to the stage of interview, there is high likelihood that they're much more refined people. So I learn a lot of, I note down a lot of things. I ask people what are the things they're reading. Okay, it is a question, but this is something I note down and I later on get the hold of those things. Okay, a lot of books I bought is based on, so some of the books that you see are not based on my own thought. These are the recommendations given by you people, people like you who have come to mock interviews and suggested this is an interesting read, this is what I learned, right? So likewise, fine. But see, so but you have to know that there are certain things that you have to keep in mind, because even if it is a GS mains, it is a test of personality. GS mains is a test of personality. It is not only your personality test or interview that is testing your personality. See, I can looking at some series of answer scripts, I can make out what kind of a person that is behind the screen, okay, or behind the person who has written those answers. It's not very difficult for me to. So same will be the case for those people who are evaluating for years together, okay. So whenever there are red flags, you might be in a difficult position because there is some level of discretion. Every question, the person has a discretion of half mark here and there. The moment the person sees that this person has some extreme views, you in that area of discretion, you might lose out on few marks. Okay, right? So what are the things? And don't be scared about this fact. Okay, you don't. When I say do's and don'ts, again, don't be too anxious about this fact that, oh, am I on the other extreme side or not? Only you have to ensure that you're not raising those red flags. When I say red flags, since most of the questions in this portion are opinionated. When I say opinionated, what do you mean by opinionated? Let's say, for example, there's a question. Uh, Marriage, okay, or a live-in relationship. There is a question on live-in relationship. How does live-in relationship live-in relationship impact family and marriage? This is an opinionated question. So in a way, they're going to ask you about your arguments, your opinions. When I say opinions, they are borrowed only. It's not that you something that you're generating right there. Okay, based on many people's argument only, you are also developing your own opinion, and that is what you are expressing. Now, when you're expressing those opinions, that clearly reflects your personality. See, that is the difference between this answer and any static based answer. Let's say there is a geography question based on volcanoes. वॉल्कनोस के ऊपर क्वेश्चन आया है मैप यू हैव टू ड्रॉ अ वर्ल्ड मैप वेयर और which are the places where volcanic eruptions are there, what is the impact of volcano. Now in this particular answer, that person might not know your true personality, in the sense whether you are a extreme right. When I say right, in terms of ideology, okay, you know about left and right ideology, okay, right, and left ideology. Whether you're falling to the extreme left or whether you're falling to the extreme right, or are you a person who is a radical feminist? On the other hand, male chauvinist. Who is a male chauvinist? What do you mean by male chauvinist? Exactly. Yes, yes. Caste relevance. Yeah. Some someone like Kabir Singh or animal. Okay, again, lot of or the term that you have, toxic masculinity. You must have heard about these terms. Uh, so yeah, misogynist. Yes, misogynist. Exactly. The other alternative term would be a misogynist. So if your answers somehow are reflecting the fact that you are a misogynist, on the other hand, being radical feminist also is quite tricky situation. Okay, because again, in a way, you believe that there should not be men in this world. Okay, so that is also problematic. Okay, and likewise, you are like the far right or far left. You are only there to, that means you are entering the system to collab completely change the system altogether. So we don't need such people. Okay, so we don't need, on the one hand, activists also, we don't need on the hand propagandists also. So services need people who are balanced, okay, especially whenever those extreme things are visible in your answers, people still get through. Okay, somehow unfortunately, because whatever be the system, there will be always be some people who get through, right? Which we call, no, inclusion and exclusion errors. Exclusion and inclusion errors. Okay, those those extreme cases do enter into the system. That likewise, most deserved candidates also are not able to get into the system because of the errors that are there in every system. That is part and parcel of our life. Okay, we have to live with it. That is a reality. Exactly. So subconsciously you might, so in a way, you have to be careful that you are, and whenever, say, let's say mentors do flag. So if you're writing some answers and showing to the mentors, or if you are also enrolled to the test series and you're showing to, and they tend to flag those things, because all of us know about these things. We have gone through this cycle repeatedly. We have been given this exam and we know. Okay, so we flag those off during the answer. So I know quite a lot of people during the I've categorically mentioned, be wary of these kind of things that you're writing. Be careful about those things, and they have made some amends, and they were able to improve on their performance. Okay, and the other thing that you have to be careful about is that now most competitors will attempt all the questions of Indian society. Why? So these 75 plus marks worth of questions, right? Because the term is known. Okay, chivalry, passive misogyny. Okay, okay, interesting. Okay, so our friend has asked a question. So let's keep this question when we discuss patriarchy. Okay, so hold on to this question, right? We are going to discuss patriarchy today, and I'm going to show some videos also on this regard. Okay, so maybe then we will try to take up. Okay, is chivalry also something which is risky? It should not appear that you're chivalrous also. Okay, so those things we'll discuss then. But see, the most competitors are going to write these answers. Okay. Yes, everyday life, you know about those things. Okay. So now, if every competitor is also writing, you are also attempting all the questions, everybody else is also attempting all the questions. So what is the blunder that lot of people do is that, अरे यार marriage तो कुछ भी लिख देंगे, caste में कुछ लिख देंगे, पता है ना, लिख देंगे. So they don't prepare well. So they don't prepare well, and only after the exam they realize that यार मैंने लिखा तो बाकी लोगों ने भी लिख दिया. Everyone else has also written the answer. So what is it that I'm going to gain more than the other person? Right? It's not that you are able to write the answer and the other person is not able to write a good answer. It might happen with some other area. For example, geography question is there. So let's say world history question is there. It might be possible that you don't know anything about a particular question, so you hardly get 1 mark. On the other hand, that person has studied well, so that person might get 5 marks. Right? So, but here, what is the problem? That everyone is able to write. So you have to make sure that in each question, you are gaining that plus 1 or 2 marks extra. right? And that 1 or 2 plus marks in each of the question you can only gain if you have a finer, refined understanding, a little more deeper understanding about those topics. So more so it is important to prepare for this area, because every competitor is able to write. It's not that you are able to attempt the question. So that means you must have even more deeper understanding, even more refined understanding, and maybe you have to spend good amount of time preparing for this paper also, right? As I told you, it is not an absolute exam. Some years the highest score has gone to 450. Some years the highest score has gone to only 400 across the GS papers. Some year it might even touch 4. I remember Shruti Sharma scored around 500, close to 490 or something. So it keeps varying. So it does not guarantee that, okay, absolutely मेरे को इतना marks मिलेगा तो I'll be assured. It is all a relative performance. It's all a relative performance. Okay, fine. So this is one thing. So where is that competitive edge that you're going to get? So that is why it is very important for you to focus on these things. Okay, you have to be conscious of this fact that am I getting that extra edge in every answer? Imagine about your competitors. Every other person is going to write an answer about what is it that I'm going to gain extra. You have to be a little more conscious. Fine. Then there is a baggage of optional paper. What do you mean by baggage of optional paper? Some people would want to flaunt a lot of things that they know about optional. Anthropology, sociology. I know about, because I'm an anthropologist, I know a lot about B.S. Guha racial theory. Because I'm a sociologist, I know a lot about M.N. Srinivas, G.S. Gure. So if you keep flaunting the names, okay, just because you know caste ke upar question aaya, let me throw n number of names because I'm a sociology student. Andre Bete se leke, right? So you have to be little careful there, okay? Right? So there are certain things like the words like Sanskritization, dominant caste, fair enough. These are the words which are now commonly being used by everyone. You don't have to be a sociologist to use these words. But remember that the person who is evaluating your answers is not from a background of anthropology. He's not a social anthropologist. He's not a sociologist. Not a political scientist. Okay, he is more of a generalist who is going to evaluate your Indian society answers. So that person may or may not know the esoteric terms and names that you're throwing just to flaunt something. And because you know a lot of things, you tend to miss out on the woods for the trees. What do you mean by missing out on woods for the trees? Any example that you might want to give? I will give my experience of an essay per se. Okay, if it was an essay question. There was a question in my first attempt on Indian cinema. Indian cinema and popular culture. So question was something like, is Indian cinema a reflection of popular culture or otherwise, or something like that? Okay, I'm not able to exactly remember what exact question, but it was to do with Indian cinema. But the main thing was also about popular culture, society and all. The moment I have seen Indian cinema, I thought a question has been asked for me. मेरे लिए पूछा गया है. I am going to somehow the universe is conspiring to ensure that in my very first attempt only I'm going to score so well in essay paper that I'll make it to the list. So I started writing more like a filmmaker, more like a film critic, without understanding the fact that, because I thought I know a lot about Indian cinema, I ended up scoring very poor. I'm even afraid to mention the scores also. Such was the poor. So I realized after coming back from the exam only, I messed it up. I messed it up because this is what might happen to you. Imagine if you are of a sociology background, if you are of an anthropology background, same might happen to someone with political science and polity questions. Okay, so that is what I'm trying to say. Just to show off, just to flaunt that you know a lot of things. You don't write what is relevant. You write what you know a lot about. You're getting it, right? So that is also quite dangerous. So you have to be very careful of the baggage of optional paper. See, you are going to gain. Definitely, you are going to have a leverage. If you have a sociology optional, anthropology optional, obviously you will have more points. You have more examples, but see to it that it is relevant to the question or not. Okay, so as long as it is relevant to the question, since you know a lot more points than any average competitors, you are going to use that knowledge definitely. But stay away from using esoteric jargons of those things, some random names which nobody would know, only those people with that background would know, right? That is one thing you have to be very careful about. Fine. Okay, so these are some things that you have to keep in mind while writing, because this is based on my experience of mentoring so many people, looking at their answers, including some of the toppers, okay, how they have course corrected with time also. Because some people, many cases I've seen some people who are already in service. They're in IPS, they're in IRS, they want to become an IAS officer or IFS officer, and they say they are in a hurry to write more and more, or they are in a hurry to flaunt that they know more now this time. Okay, they more a lot more this time, and they also tend to miss out on this aspect. Okay, just because you read something very specifically about a particular topic, it's not necessary that you try to force fit. Okay, so force fitting is a kind of क्या बोलते हैं, disease that people start to acquire with time. Okay, so these are some things that you have to keep in mind. Okay, while looking at these things. Fine. So having discussed these things, the most common questions that you have is, so then what should we so now we realize it is very important. At least I cannot completely ignore, or I cannot have just a superficial knowledge about it. I have to give some time for this paper also, this topic also, especially for the fact that only 90 plus marks in paper one, and imagine the leverage that I'm going to get. But tell me what to study. Okay, so when it comes to your strategy in terms of what all material you have to refer to, your core material is whatever you're going to gain in these 8 classes. This is your base. So whatever you're noting down as we are going through the classes, and supported by these PPTs, session PPTs. Okay, so session PPTs along with your running notes is going to be your base, and that is both static and current included. But as I told you, you have to update the current with whatever is happening from now till your mains. Right? That job I cannot do you in future. I cannot come to future and spoon feed you in future, and right, that is something that you have to. Yes, we have at 7 o'clock also. So that is why. So the first sessions are going to be shorter, about 2 hours, and the next sessions are going to be 3 hours. So overall, because I think I'm thinking that in between I might have to take a quick nap also, cat nap also. Okay, so the first sessions 4 to 6:15 types we'll have, and then the 7 to 7 sessions. So those people who are concerned about the dinner, make it a point that you have a working dinner also. I'll discuss those things, fine. Yeah. So these things is what you have to do. And in as we go along, I will also explain how you can take out things from newspapers. Okay. In one of the sessions, I'll pick up randomly some previous newspapers, and I'll briefly discuss as to how you can take up those contents also from the newspaper, and one or the other current affairs, wherever you are taking from. Does not matter much. See, you have to only refer to this current affairs, depending on your convenience that you're used to. I used to try different things because I used to get bored of one particular monthly magazine. So I used to keep changing every 6 months. I used to, because that used to make it little more interesting for me also. Otherwise, it might become very boring if you read same kind of things. Okay. Right. So some months I used to take up monthly material of one A particular institution, then B particular institution. Right. So it is up to you. I'm not very particular about which monthly magazine or fortnightly current updates. So any source of current affairs plus newspapers is very important for this area. Okay. Okay. And we are going to discuss sample newspapers and how to get content from those things. So you have to be very careful with this. And NCRTs, I would say, okay, if time permits, please go through the NCRTs. Okay. Because see, a lot of content I borrowed from NCRTs also. And if you're looking at NCRTs, again, you can straight away scan, you know where to download from, go to this portal, download. And when I'm talking about NCRTs, these are the 3 NCRTs that I'm referring to. So straight away go to the site, and then you can download those PDFs also. Fine. And parallelly, and you don't have to make separately notes out of NCRTs, mind you. You just read whatever is there, take a printout, or if it is an offline PDF on the tab, you're trying to underline those things. Fine. Okay. So whatever you're reading in the NCRTs, first reading, you may not have underlined many things. Second reading, you try to underline and write something here and there. So you keep it like that only, and with time, you keep revising those things. You don't have to separately again take something out of NCRT and put in somewhere. Okay. Not required. Okay. Not required. So, but again, why NCRT? Because the language is quite important. see, whatever said and done, see, when I say language, I'm not saying you should have good English. Basic English, fine. Yeah, whatever seventh, eighth English that you have learned, that is good enough. Okay. When I say language, see, using fewer words to be articulate. You want to express your opinion, you are able to do it in a fewer words and hit the nail on the head. So that kind of a skill that you acquire is through NCERT reading. That is why a lot of people keep insisting. It's not just Indian society, I'm sure geography, your economy, all the areas, you start with NCERTs only, right? So it is mainly to develop that kind of an articulation skill, which is basic only, basic English only. And you don't even have to have that language also. NCERT is still, I would say, little higher English that is used in NCERTs. But again, if you read those things, you will develop as to how to present a particular argument, how to give an example to substantiate your point of view, how to quote a data to substantiate your point of view. These things you learn from NCERTs. These things you learn also from newspaper reading. That is why newspaper reading is quite important, especially those editorials and all. Fine, okay. And see, ultimately, these are the skills, okay. Slowly, you're going to develop with time, which unknowingly are helping you. Okay, fine. So this is what is. So you're running notes and these PPTs and your running notes is more than enough. That is why the PPTs are exhaustive enough. Okay, you must have you downloaded that PPT of first session? Is it fine now? It's a different PPT, right? By mistake, I think I've uploaded the same PPT. Fine, fair enough. Huh. So if you look at those PPTs, okay, with time, I will even, after we are done with the sessions, every day I'm going to share whatever we're going to discuss in those sessions beforehand. Okay. For example, whatever I uploaded, they're planning to discuss these things in first session and second session. Likewise, tomorrow, another PDF, PPT I will upload. So and at the end, I consolidated PDF also, PPT also I will upload. So that is exhaustive enough, quite exhaustive enough. Okay. So that is why I'm not going to share any other additional material. इसी में आपका जान निकल जाएगा. Okay. Looking at these PPTs only, you will feel, अरे यार, इतना सारा है. Okay. You will have a feeling so much is there. But again, so there's no need of any other, okay, you don't need any other PPT. Okay, yes. And see, some people are asking, sir, please share the annotated one. Okay, see, that is the reason why I've told you. Please write down something. Because if everything is, if you're looking for annotated one, that means you're in a way looking at having popcorn in your hand and watching this like a movie, like a web series. 8 एपिसोड का सीरीज चलेगा इंडियन सोसाइटी का. 2 एपिसोड आज बिंज वॉच करेंगे, कल 2 एपिसोड बिंज वॉच, विल वॉच 2 एपिसोड्स tomorrow. This might be your intention of having, right? So you would not need an annotated one if you're writing notes. Okay. And later on, again, you can watch, even if some things are not clear, you go selectively. That is the positive thing about online thing. You can watch those videos again, also recorded versions, once in a while if you're not clear about certain things. Okay. So there is, I don't get, somehow I don't get a sense of sharing the annotated ones, because that in a way, I think even it proves to be counterproductive. Okay. So that way, better you uh, better you write your notes. That's what I've been saying. I've been requesting you write your notes, right? So there is no need of annotated version to be shared also that ways. ठीक है, चलिए, fine. Okay. So is this clear what to go through? Fine. NCERTs, whatever we're going to discuss, PPTs and your running notes, and in addition to that, so is there any doubt here, sir? ये पढ़ना है, वो पढ़ना है, and that is precisely the reason why there is no standard book also, which I can say that is there for Indian society, because it's a dynamic area. Even if you write a book today, you have to keep updating it every 3 months or every 6 months to make it relevant. That is why, unfortunately, for Indian society, there is no such a standard book you can refer to. Getting it? Not required, not required. Yes. Any other book, if you are attending these sessions, is not required. Okay. No standard book is required. Only NCERTs. That too, I am telling if time permits. Okay. you can do away with this because a lot of contents I borrowed from NCERTs. Okay, ठीक है, चलिए. Okay, yeah. So now there are other things beyond these things that I will share as we go along in the sessions. Okay, there could be some sources, some videos here and there, some documentaries selectively. So as and when time comes, as and when we discuss the topics, I'll mention about those things. So don't worry about those things. Depending on the topic, I will ask you to refer to certain YouTube video, certain documentary, okay? Or certain particular website, particular article. And most of the things, since I've watched them multiple times already, I have incorporated those things into the PPTs also. It's not so already PPTs containing all those things. But again, for a better sensitization, because sensitization is quite important. Okay, sensitization is also important for you. That keeps you motivated also. So I will ask you to refer to certain videos here and there, because I've also gained some things by watching certain YouTube videos. My answers were a little more refined because I looked at certain videos, and not just Indian society also. I will share some with respect to other areas also, though it is not what I teach, but since I've cleared the exam, right, and I've been able to score across the papers fairly well. So I will keep sharing something that I know about other topics also, some videos. So that is how we go about it. Fine. So is this clear for you in terms of study material? Okay. Great. Chalo. So last thing is, sir, how do I plan my preparation? Or how do I go about? So this is a common, it is not only restricted to Indian society per se, it is common for any people. This is what even Abhijit sir would have discussed in the very first day also. It's not something which I'm saying out of the blue, something new. Okay, these things in the very first session that Abhijit sir and Sasank sir have taken, they might have discussed the similar things. So I'm only re-emphasizing those things that as far as Indian society is concerned, because again, mostly it is relevant for mains, but again, lot of questions indirectly you are able to answer well in prelims. See, whatever we are going to study, a lot of things will help you to also eliminate certain options in the prelims. So indirectly, you are going to gain some things. There are directly also some questions from Indian society that are asked in prelims also, but overall, mainly you are focusing on the mains portion, okay? And so that is when, since it is to do with a lot of things has to do with mains portion, you have to be fairly be comfortable with respect to consolidation. And that is why, at least for Indian society part, I've asked you to write notes on the loose sheets or some notebook. Okay, because आपका addition deletion होता रहेगा, mostly addition, some deletion also. If something is not very relevant, you might want to discard those things also, fine, but mostly additions होगा. So that consolidation is quite important. So if you are maintaining some kind of a notes, written notes somewhere, it becomes easier for you. Okay, so and plan is something even in the very first session also people would have discussed. Okay, so go to upscprep.com/plans. There are 5-month plan, 8-month plan, all different kinds of plan. You just download the Excel sheet, keep a copy at your end, also local copy of Excel sheet. In that Excel sheet, you clearly note down every day, okay, with respect to so and so. So whatever days that you're allocating for Indian society also, properly see to it that you're making good use of those days and you are able to consolidate content, okay, study or revise or consolidate. So having content and organization is very important, right? Because I will probably, just give me a moment, I will show some of the files. So these are the files that I'm still holding on to, some of them, not all. Yeah, because I used to write in loose sheets, this is the kind of files I started to maintain. Keep punching, okay? उसके ऊपर नाम भी मेरा लिख दिया मैंने, okay? So loose sheets. So it was easier for me to add, or sometimes if I feel itna bhi zaruri nahi hai, तो I used to discard, but mostly addition. And these are punched, okay, file है punch कर सकते हो. I'm not saying you strictly follow this only. If you have notebooks, that is also fine. Okay, different things work for different people. So because this organization, topic wise organization is very crucial, topic wise. So some people are comfortable with online material also. Online, you are able to type, copy, paste, good enough. Okay, that is also fine. I'm not again saying those things. So some content, especially current affairs related things, you might be putting in some Evernote. Some people are comfortable with Google Docs, Evernote. Please do it. Right? I'm not against those things, definitely. Okay. But you should know that this topic has content. This, you know, the place where this topic has all the content. As simple as that. Right? Either it is lying in some file there, or it is lying in some folder on my laptop or a tab. Right? You know about those things. So this aspect, this consolidation is the very important, the primary thing. Now, the next job is that topic wise, otherwise you keep revising those things. For example, today we are going to have 2 sessions. And ideally, I would insist that you could do a quick revision before coming to tomorrow's class. So much so that I will try to give you some home assignments also if you want. यानी थोड़ा काम आपको दूंगा कि 15-20 मिनट पढ़ो कल के लिए, राइट? इज इट ओके फॉर यू? नो सर, नो होमवर्क. ओके, सो आई विल मेक इट थोड़ा एक्सरसाइज ऑल्सो आपको दूंगा कि होम असाइनमेंट कलेक्ट करके लेके आना होगा. And I will give you some test also, test in the sense of 10 minutes ka quick what quiz like thing. Okay, a quick objective quiz only based on the home assignment. Let's say whatever we are going to discuss today and whatever home assignment I'm going to give you tomorrow, one small quiz I'm going to give you. It will be a leaderboard, scoreboard also. You will have a name. I will try that out because see, I was into a lot of quizzing in academy days also. In LBSNA, I've been quite I think 3 to 4 quizzes I've gotten prizes also. So a lot of quizzing will be happening in your academy also. So that quizzer in me is a little curious. So let me use that. So we'll have every day from tomorrow onwards, we'll have a small 10 minutes quiz also, just to see whether you have understood certain things we have discussed in the classes or not. Okay, fine. So this is how we go about. So this is a revision that you doing on a daily basis. Okay, on a daily basis, whatever you have studied, you done some classes. You for example, 2.5 hour classes. If you are very attentive in the class, 2.5 hour class, you can easily revise in 20 minutes, not more than 20 minutes. Whatever you have written down as notes, quickly going through, you can quickly revise in 20 minutes if you're attentive in the class. Now, what happens is that if you don't do it on a daily basis, this thing, it is not the only revision that you do. Obviously, whatever the other standard books, not here. Let's say tomorrow you compile other current affairs material also. You revise those things also in the later time, right? But whatever you are already doing on a daily basis, especially those classes that you are attending, because see, these classes are quite important because to deliver 2.5 hours of a lecture, okay, it is my 10 years of experience, or before 10 years also, my preparation, my service anecdotes, examples that I learned, a lot of things. I have a refined understanding of certain things because of my experience in the service. I know better about caste. I know better about problems of women face because I was there in the service, right? So those insights I'm going to anyways use in the sessions. I'm going to give those as an examples. All those case studies that you see are day and day are part of your job. जो case studies आपको इतने सारा, it's like a every month, every week, those are the kind of case studies that you have to deal in your service life. So imagine, so those insights I'm anyways going to incorporate into the classes. That's why I'll keep sharing some anecdotes also, so that you have a better understanding of certain things. Okay, right? So whatever you learn in these 2.5 hours, so since the lot of effort is there on the other side, okay, from this side, to come up with these 2.5 hours of lecture. So it is important for you to ensure that you are retaining lot of it. So it is better you revise those things on a daily basis also. So 15-20 minutes पे हर class का हो जाएगा. So for 5 hours का everyday sessions का revision आपका less than 1 hour, you can easily do the revision. So this is because if you try to look at these things again, imagine today 5-hour session, whatever you've written down, you take that sheets and look at after 1 month. You might not remember a lot of things. you will end up spending 2 hours to recollect lot of things. You're spending more time to revise the same thing. And some doctors would corroborate my point of view. There are few doctors here, maybe medical. So neuros, what does neuroscience say? Okay. Neuroscience also says something that whatever you do within 24 hours, it retains for a longer period of time. It takes lesser effort for you to remember those things also. Okay, fine. So it's not only, so there's a science behind it. It's not some anecdotal evidence, because again, so this is what you have to do. Then once in a while, you keep writing answers. See, I understand a lot of you have just started preparing. So it might be a little difficult for you to start writing answers from the word go. Okay. But before you switch to prelims mode of preparation in the month of Feb, at least in some topics, you have some fair comfort. That means for a 10 marker, are you able to sit and write something that you can fill in 2 pages? This is only to avoid that anxiety panic after you see that, array, I have cleared prelims, but I've not written even a single answer. This golden opportunity of writing mains I've gotten, but I realize that within 2 months I have to do a lot of things. So I want you guys to avoid that situation. This is what I learned in my first attempt. See, I had no other option also. Imagine I started my preparation in the month of January. I cleared prelims and I knew that I'm not going to prepare for mains before prelims. So there was hardly any writing practice that I've done. And naturally, I was not very hopeful also, because I was not able to practice any answer writing. Only some bit of answer writing I did, that too very rarely before, because I had to prepare from zero for a mains preparation after I cleared prelims. Imagine my situation, including optionals. Okay, so at least you are much better, in a better of situation, because you've started at least in the month of October and November. So do some bit of answer writing. You may not be able to write full length tests. If you are able to write, well and fine, that is also fine, because some people have started little earlier also. Okay, but at least write some topics in each. Let's say geography, some topics you write some sample answers, maybe pick up some PYQs maybe. Okay, likewise Indian society, some sample answers. Okay, you write and you use the mentoring sessions maybe to once in a while ask the mentor, sir, I've written an answer. Can you have a quick look at it and say how is it okay or not, right? Likewise, right? So make use of this mentorship also that is there along with this course. Okay, that's why all our courses are also integrated with the mentorship. Okay, because this is one thing that we feel a lot of people don't have the support in terms of fine. So before you switch to prelims mode of preparation, have a little bit of comfort. Okay, so that it is not a panic situation for you after you clear the prelims. Fine. So this is what I say by answer writing. And obviously, as I told you, seek mentor's guidance in terms of how to plan out things, how to fill in the gaps, all those things. Okay, so anyways, I think I'm sure parallelly the mentor details are also available with you. Okay,